Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm going to be making an art journal page. And this art journal page did not start out blank. It's got all this wonderful pattern and color already on it because it was made from a gel print. Now, how did I make this print? Because, this is one of my favorite prints of all time. Well, that was done with hot glue, cardboard, and a gel press plate. And the good news is I have a video of that for you to check out. So think of that as part 1, and this is part 2, where I turn it into a finished art journal page. So here's the print that I made directly into my art journal with the gel press plate. Now, I gotta tell you with this, I loved almost everything about it. I love the pattern, I love the colors, but there was one big problem for me. And that was all that white space. And that's what I'm going to get rid of here in this video. I'm going to use the shapes and patterns that are already there to guide me and see where it takes me. I seem to be putting a lot of yellow just on one side of the page, so I thought, I don't want the other side to have its feelings hurt, so I am going to put a little bit of yellow over there. Well, the urge to get that white space covered up hit me big time at this point. I just wanted to get rid of a ton of that white space. So I'm just going to take one color, it happens to be teal, and I am just going to be brushing it around. Now I started out thinking that I would neatly brush around everything that was on there, but not so much anymore. I'm going to paint around some things, but not everything, because that's just an awful lot of thinking or precision that doesn't bring me joy, and as I'm doing this, I want to do the things on it that make me happy. And those little yellow circles, are they inner tubes floating down the river? Are they yellow sunshine donuts? Beats me what they are, but they are making me so happy right now. So I'm going to keep putting that teal around them because I'm loving those two right next to each other. And strangely, I decided to leave some of the white space. Not a lot of it, but some of it. Well, we'll see if it stays white the entire time. Now the white inside the yellow inner tubes there, yeah, that's not going to last. That purple on my palette was screaming at me that it wanted to be right in there, so I happily obliged. Now about this point I realized, nope, can't oblige that white space over there. Grabbed that teal and covered that stuff up. Now one of the perks about the way I've been putting the paint on is that I've been using a very small amount of paint. So that means my paint has dried pretty quickly on me. And that allows me to get the fountain pen out and start doing some drawing and tracing around things. Now I actually want to stay pretty close to where the actual paint lines are on this. So for me that means I have to concentrate and really work on my eye-hand coordination. Now to help me out with that, I find that there's one way if I hold my pen, I'm much more accurate. So with a small journal, it makes it really easy to just turn the journal and keep my hand in that favorite position to give me the best control over it. Now this also works when I'm doing a little bit of scribble journaling, when I want to do very small journaling to go just right around the edges around some of the circles. Now I got really lucky today. This wasn't that I planned it out, it was just a luck. And that was that this paint is almost completely dry, simply because I was putting on very thin or small amounts of paint. And when using a pen on paint, you really want your paint to be dry for everything to work well. Plus 2, wet paint on a pen can ruin it, so you want to be careful of that. So I'm getting a little more scribble journaling here, this time safely in the white space, and I realize I want a title for this. And I want this title written in the same kind of ink that I'm doing all this scribble journaling in. But I'm not a big fan of my handwriting. So what can I do? Well, I'm going to grab one of my stencils. This is one that I created for StencilGirl Products, and it's called Wall of Words. And it's got all sorts of words on it, and I'm looking through to see which ones really kind of fit the vibe that I'm going for on this page. Now, once I've picked them out and I know which ones I want to use, I've really zoomed in here so you can see the detail on this, then I'm going to take the fountain pen and I am just going to trace around the letters. So I'm just going right in there, and the stencil is acting as a guide to keep it so that my letters are all about even, they're approximately the same height, but I'm just going in with a very loose, sketchy kind of thing in there. Now remember what I said about wet paint and pens and how they don't really mix? That's what you're seeing happening right now. The paint there, the pen is not showing up much because the paint is pretty damp there, and I've accumulated up some paint on the pen nib. So off camera, what I'm doing right now is getting the paint off of that nib by writing it on a piece of just plain scrap paper, and that way it'll remove that stuff so that the ink can then flow more smoothly and I can get more of it to show up here. Now, if I had a little more patience and made sure the paint was completely dry before I started writing on it with my pen, my pens would probably last a little bit longer for me too. Now, another reason why I love using this technique when putting words on a page is because of how forgiving and flexible it is. The word this, yeah, it's hard to see there because of the color, but by simply tracing over it, I can darken it right up. Well, thanks so much for joining me for this play in my art journal today. I hope you've been enjoying it, and if you have, I would so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And of course, if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I have a new video out. Now, what if you don't want the play to end now? What if you want more stuff? Well, head on over to my blog at acolorfuljourney.com, where I've got things like my newsletter with free video and download waiting for you, as well as a free workshop called Permission to Play. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.